Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sports is Sadaji podcast. We are back for a Miami GP preview and a load of bombshells dropping in the F1 paddock, which is more interesting than F1 these days. And we're going to mix things up. We're not going to start with the Miami GP preview, which is, this weekend with a sprint race and race. It's like a triple, the of action-packed weekend coming up with Max Verstappen winning all of them. But we are going to quickly go to the big bombshell confirmed news story from 2 days ago, which we have been reporting all the speculation for you. There was a lot of speculation, a lot of drama, and at least one part is official. Adrian Newey has announced he's going to leave Red Bull in a year. So early
Yep.
2025, Ankit, Newey's out. And I think Red Bull did hint, right, that even for the remaining year, he's not going to work on F1 a lot, but
Yeah.
he's just going to work on the RB17. And for our viewers who might have forgotten, RB17 was actually the name of the car that was supposed to race in the 2021 season, but Red Bull made that the RB16B instead because of COVID, and RB17 is supposed to be for the new regulations from 2021, which got postponed to 2022. 2020, and of course, give us that fantastic Hamilton and Max Verstappen rivalry. But the RB17 was renamed to RB16B that season, and RB17 is going to be Red Bull's street legal car that Newey has been developing the aerodynamics for. And it seems from Red Bull announcement that he will continue working on the RB17, but well, his days at F1 are over.
Yep.
What do you think, Aniket?
His days in
Big news?
F1 are not over, but his days in Red Bull definitely are over.
Oh, sorry,
So
yes, I mean Red
I
F1 in Red Bull, not F1 as a whole.
think I mean, firstly, let's get to the bottom of it, right? He's been with Red Bull for the past 19 years, going on 20 years post this season. He's been there from a long time. He's delivered some of the greatest F1 cars of this generation, as well as some in the history of F1 as well. So definitely the greatest designer in F1 history. So because of the recent Red Bull, off-track fiasco with Christian Horner, as well as as well as Adrian Newey's interest in working on other challenges. This has probably come about at the right time for Newey to now call it quits and seek other challenges. Newey has done it all basically in F1. So if we talk about his resume, he's won championships with McLaren, with Williams, then with Red Bull. He's worked with some of the best drivers in F1 history as well. So his imprint on different manufacturers as well as title winning cars are like all over, basically. So uh, yeah, I think he's gonna be in high demand. I think that though he's not been working as a full time technical guy for Red Bull. Basically, he's been on and off on the Red Bull car as well. But his imprint is all there. I mean, it's completely there on the framework of the car, as well as the framework of the title winning cars previously as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what lies ahead next when we talk about his next move later in this episode, because there's obviously going to be a lot of interest from different teams.
Oh yes, oh
But
yes.
it definitely has come about as a surprise when it first came out as a rumor. But because we thought that this Red Bull partnership, which with Newey, Horner, and Verstappen, would go long into the late 2020s,
Mm,
years as well. So it coming to an abrupt end seems a little like chaotic from Red Bull's perspective, that now they have to work on the new generation of cars from 2026 without Newey in their technical side of things.
right. Yeah. So as we can see here, this is basically Newey's legacy, right? Uh, in the last 32 seasons since Newey started working in F1, right? 41% of cars of seasons, he has won. This guy's an absolute legend, right?
Hmm.
Um, right from Nigel Mansell in '92 and Prost, and then Villeneuve and
Michael
Hill and
Schumacher with Benetton.
no, I think that is red,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So
That's what I
yeah, yeah,
meant.
yeah.
Yeah.
But Hakkinen's 2 seasons,
Yeah.
Villeneuve, right? And then of course there's the break of Schumacher's dominance,
Yeah.
and Alonso, and the Ferrari, and yeah, the later 2000s had a lot of excitement after
Yeah.
Schumacher left F1, right? We had Raikkonen and Hamilton were very very close titles, and then Braun somehow just blew everybody away. But then Newey came back with 4 seasons again of Vettel, and yeah, and once again we had the Merc era,
Mm.
and yeah, after that again, last 3 seasons of Max Verstappen, it's been all Adrian Newey,
Yeah.
and yeah, he's worked Nigel Mansell. That's where it started at Williams. So both Mansell and Prost were Williams. Damon Hill was Williams. Jacques Villeneuve was Williams. So and then he moved to McLaren. He won 2 with McLaren, and then Red Bull. This guy has won it all, right? The only things that could stop him were an unreal Ferrari team and unreal Mercedes team, right? And now wherever new he goes, it's going to be very very hard to stop him. And we also heard in the past couple of days. I mean, a lot of news have been coming out in the past couple of days since the new news was announced. Um, we heard that Ferrari and Aston Martin, were the top 2 teams in the running to get his signature. We heard that Fred Vasseur did not go to Miami with the team, but instead met Newey in, I think, London to have dinner and supposedly close the deal. Now we don't know how true that is, but also, I mean, rumors are coming thick and fast. But we also heard that, well, uh, that Newey rejected Aston Martin. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess I can't blame who wants to work with Lance Stroll and throw your life's work away. But it's going to be very interesting. I mean, there's still nothing reported on Mercedes, right? Um, Mercedes, of course, would probably be very interested as well to kind of have a chief designer in his twilight years. But to your point, Aniket, it's uh, like it's really fascinating how it is all unraveled for Red Bull in the middle of the dominance, right? Um, you
Yeah.
know, last time when let's step back to 2006, right? When Schumacher was forced out of Ferrari, right? Um, if you look at that point, right? Ferrari didn't, I mean, this obviously this is heavy speculation. Nothing of Ferrari was ever confirmed, but knowing Italian politics, it's probably true. Uh, but so basically in 2006, the year Alonso won his second title out of nowhere. 2 titles of Alonso out of nowhere, basically. But that's probably like Williams winning a title today. But 2006, Ferrari's had a not the racing team Ferrari, but the car company Ferrari had a new CEO, Luca Di Montezemolo, and he was pissed off that in the Scuderia Ferrari racing team, you had Ross Brawn, John Todt, and Michael Schumacher with such political power over the entire team. And Schumacher was, to be fair, at that point coming towards the end of his career. This is back in the 2000s when we didn't have 40-year-old race drivers racing at the top of their
Yeah.
fitness. And Schumacher, because of FIA's rule changes, which hurt Ferrari, we saw Alonso win 2 titles. And Luca really wanted to break this dominance up. He wanted Kimi Raikkonen, the Maverick driver from McLaren. He wanted Schumacher gone. He wanted Jean Todt gone. He wanted Ross Brawn gone. He basically wanted to break up the team and assert his dominance. And although one can argue it's still time, it was still Ferrari was not that dominant. They had 2 seasons with nothing to show for. So one could argue. I'm not saying it's a fair argument, but one could still argue that Luca was maybe fair in breaking it up.
Yeah.
Obviously that's stupid because Ferrari had won jack shit since Kimi Raikkonen kind of Pip Lewis. But there was an argument to be made that time. But now with Red Bull, it probably all comes down to Christian Horner versus Helmut Marko, right? We saw Christian Horner, unable to keep in his pants allegedly. I don't want a Red Bull lawyer beating on my ass now, but allegedly, Christian Horner could not keep in his pants. Um, and suddenly it's all falling apart, right? Adrian Newey is already confirmed to be gone. We still keep hearing reports of um, Horner versus Marco, still having tussles. We are hearing reports that the Thai family might kind of end their support for Horner. Um, Toto Wolff is openly, shamelessly flirting with Max Verstappen every race weekend, which he never did, right? Even after Lewis Hamilton's departure was announced, Toto never said anything about Max Verstappen. But now he
Hmm.
says a lot. So obviously, Toto knows something that we don't. Um, but it's really fascinating, right? I mean, like, we have another year and a half of no rule changes, right?
Yeah,
The FI today has nowhere near the balls as 2005 to just change the rules in between a regulation cycle to kind of hamstring the dominant team. Nothing is going to happen to 2026, right? I mean, they can't even finalize the 2026 rules yet. Forget changing rules for 2025.
yeah.
So Red Bull
So
has a clear one and a
yeah,
half year left of dominance, and the team is already falling apart.
yeah. So before we get to the Red Bull side of it, firstly, Newey is definitely going to join a team in F1 because he's he's not got any gardening leave, or he's negotiated out of his
Right.
uh,
Yeah.
contract as and when he leaves Red Bull. So he's available from second quarter of 2025. That means he's going to work only till first quarter. So whoever he's going to sign with, or whoever avails his services, will get him just in time for 2026 regulations. So he still has some
Yeah.
time to work on the, or to lay his mark on the new regulation changes for the car. So that's very
Mm.
important. There's no gardening leave. He doesn't have to sit out of F1. So he's got that negotiated out of his exit exit proceedings. And I guess if you talk about the Red Bull chaos, yes, I mean, we all know it started with the Christian Horner incidents. With supposedly, I think that was in the reports came out that was Newey's PA, who had issues with Horner, and then we all know that Horner got her removed from the team, and so on and so forth. So it does seem like because of Horner's shenanigans that all of this Red Bull sort of hierarchy is now falling apart. And
Yeah.
it's wild to see, because I guess this was probably the only thing that could stop them from their dominance, because
Yeah.
on track there was no team that was stopping them. So it was only something off track that could actually stop them, and now we're getting to see what the things happening with Newey's exit first, and then the rumors of Verstappen, as well as Horner himself being the rumors race in race out in terms of whether he's going to be there as the team principal next season or not. So it's going to be interesting to see, as you said, firstly this year and next year, and then once into the once in the new regulation, that whether Red Bull can actually be independent of Newey and work on a Newey-less car, be make that successful as well. So a lot of
Right.
interesting things to see from them.
Yeah. And also the thing is, I mean, Red Bull is probably still winning 2024 or probably running away with the title
Yeah,
this year. But even I mean, they still have a good aero team, right? They have what Pierre Wash, Mr. Wash, who's their actual chief
yeah.
aerodynamicist.
So Newey is just working on the sidelines as of now, and I mean they have a fairly well structured internal technical team
Right.
which is handling things at this point.
Yeah. But also, it was reported that Newey was kind of unhappy that Wash was being given more importance when he has been kind of the the visionary behind each Red Bull car design, right?
Mhm.
Um, with I think the reorg last season, Newey, it was reported Newey has been starting to feel even before the whole Christian Horner thing happened, right? It was being
Yeah,
reported that Newey had started to feel a bit left out with with what was happening at Red Bull, and obviously the Horner saga probably was the straw that broke the proverbial camel's back, right?
yeah,
But there were also reports, and obviously these are obviously unconfirmed. I mean, F1 Twitter is just going crazy with rumors right now. But an interesting rumor I saw was that Fred Vasseur is talking to Wash and wants to get him also to Ferrari. I'm like,
who
if
doesn't Fred Vasseur want at this point?
oh, I read about that.
He's trying to assemble the Avengers.
Yeah, I mean, Vasseur, what is he running for Italian Prime Minister now? Is going to replace Maloney? Like, what's
I'm
going
sure
on?
he should become the Pope if Newey joined Ferrari. No,
It
but
just
if
yeah,
we get to the story of who knew he's going to join or what's his next move, which title
yeah,
is basically. So a lot of interesting options, right, as you said. So firstly, he's always spoken about his admiration to join Ferrari. Ferrari have approached him multiple times in the past few years.
right,
I mean, going
yeah,
back as far as 2014 as well, when they wanted him to lead their entire road car project. Basically, they wanted to hand over the reins of the road car project to him and
mm,
give him like a blank checkbook and just let him come into the team and do his stuff. But at that
right,
time, he didn't want to go to Italy and change basically his lifestyle and move his entire family there. So he's had few approaches from Ferrari, but because of the Italian base and because he didn't want to shift his basically his entire family and all that to
yeah. I think also his
Maranello.
kid was a kid back then. So his kid was still now his kid is 25 years. So 10 years ago, 15 years, he probably didn't want
Yeah.
his kid to go to
So
college
we
and all
have
that.
to see that if something has changed or not, because previously, because the Maranello factor, he was not going there, or he did not.
Right.
He rejected most of the advances from Ferrari. But now we'll have to wait and watch whether he's ready to finally move to Italy and make his imprint on the car. And as you said, the other options are at home in England with Aston Martin and teams like Mercedes. Not sure if McLaren is interested because they already have quite a few technical
Right. Yeah.
people and
They poach a
three
lot of
pronged three
Mercedes
pronged
people.
approach or something as they say.
They poach a lot of Mercedes people, McLaren. So and
Yeah,
from Red. So
and
they
from
have a
Red Bull,
pretty
correct. So at this point, it does seem likely that I think Ferrari, Aston Martin, and Mercedes being the only three options for him, unless he wants to work on the upcoming Audi project, or
yeah.
I don't know, maybe Williams or something is very.
Right.
I would say Williams is like a honeymoon option for him because then he'll go back to the team which he initially worked for in
Right.
F1.
Yeah.
So that could
And
be another,
yeah, I think the Aston Martin rumors also kind of gained some weight because he has in the past, just like how we talk fondly about, Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari, he also talked very fondly about Fernando Alonso that, he might want to work with him someday. So that obviously kicked off a lot of the Aston Martin rumors. And also Aston Martin has been spending money like crazy to get the best folks around, right?
mm,
Except not firing Lance Stroll. They
except
have been doing quite things.
yeah,
Dude, that guy can't even look when a car is braking in front of him. But but yeah, like you said, Williams would be another, a terrific option, right? Like Williams seem to have, a good car, right? I mean, sure, Alex and Logan keep putting into the wall, but last year Williams had very good straight line speed, right? And they were a bit off in corners and all that, but they had a very good car on the straights. And New could just be the X factor, who would keep the car fast, but still make it a beast in the corners, which is basically what the Red Bull is today. It's not slow anywhere, right? It's fast and straight. It's fast to corner. It doesn't slip. It doesn't
yeah,
hurt its tires. It's just like a unicorn racing car. So, and obviously, a large part of it is probably due to Newey. I mean, from the
yep,
aerodynamic side, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting wherever Newey goes because he has just been this legend of F1 in aerodynamics from like you said, 30 years now, and has developed so many championship cars. And yeah, I guess every team is probably checking their bank accounts. How much can they afford to? Uh,
yep.
some for something new to come. Uh, so yeah, this
At this point, if I had to bet, I'll put my money on Aiden Newey going to Ferrari. Just
yeah.
because Ferrari has been linked with him so much in the past few weeks,
Oh
and
yes. Oh
we've
yes.
got
Yeah.
so many rumors of Fred Vasseur meeting him, and also his interest in only moving to Ferrari if he leaves Red Bull. So at this point, it looks like it's Ferrari or maybe like some other motorsport career for Newey.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that he will not leave F1 because he's also
I mean,
spoken about
also,
his.
I mean, Newey still also wants to work on street cars, right? Which is
Yeah,
why Aston Martin and Ferrari are very attractive options, right? Compared to say Williams. Like Williams are
yeah.
just an F1, not any street cars, right? So I mean, Mercedes still has street cars, but so they're the AMG division for
But
hyper
apparently
hyper.
he he told someone that even he cannot get that Mercedes car to back to his winning ways. Even the car is that bad. Like, because if Newey is saying that, that means the car is really shit at this point.
I
So
mean, but I mean, whichever team Newey joins, he's probably only going to do 2026. He's not going to take part in 2025. So maybe he'll just if he joins Mercedes, March 2025, he walks into Mercedes. He goes to the the aerodynamics team. He probably takes the models, throws it in the trash, and say, "We're going to start from scratch today."
yes,
Even if Mercedes probably done 8 months of development at that point, right? If we see the regulations finalized by the summer, they probably have 8 9 months of development under him. And he was probably like, you know what, just throw this.
yep, it's gonna be an interesting few weeks.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, I mean, yeah, Newey is going to dominate New Cycle. I mean, till he announces where he's going to
Yep.
join, he's going to dominate New Cycle. And yeah, and one last thing about the Ferrari and Newey connection, like you said, right? I mean, yes, 10 years ago, when kind of Ferrari tried heaven and earth to get him, but he was not interested at that point because he wanted to move to Italy, but also his kid was 15 years old at that point, right? Probably in high school. He didn't want to move the kid, uproot his family and all that stuff. But right now, his kid is away, right? His kid is 25 years. He's left home, right? It's just him and his wife. Italy has nice weather. Uh, Britain famously has crap weather, right?
Hmm.
And New is 65 years old. He probably wants a change in weather. And where else would Maranello, right? And I don't know. Um, Fred Vasseur becomes a pope, and Newey becomes a saint of.
Yeah.
It's like right in the church.
If Fred Vasseur gets in Lewis Hamilton and Adrian Newey in the same season, then
Yeah,
definitely he's gonna get an ascension to the throne of Italy. But
exactly.
so I cannot wait to see Lewis Hamilton and Adrian Newey work together if that's gonna happen.
Yeah, but
But
that
we'll
I
have
mean,
to
we
wait for
probably
some
see
news.
results in 2026, right? Because 2025, the car will be
Yes.
probably frozen this year itself. It's probably already frozen for 25, right? But yeah, man, I just wonder, with Ferrari for next year, right? Um, they got Lewis Hamilton. They potentially getting Newey and even Wash, if rumors are to be believed. And they build basically building these Avengers, of personnel. They'll probably also move Havander to get Bono. I don't know. Looking at Vasari, he'd probably get anybody he
Oh
wants.
yeah.
He'd probably get GP for shits and giggles as well. But what about poor Charles Leclerc? Nobody's talking about him. He
I
got some.
mean, he's there. He's gonna be there for sure. It's
He
Charles's
was some.
team, so definitely he's gonna be the talk of the town till Lewis comes in and tries to get control
Yeah.
himself. So for sure, it's Charles's teams so far. But we'll see in
You know,
2025 what happens, and then later when Newey comes in,
yeah,
how
it's
the car
probably
is
really
built.
interesting. And if Ferrari have, like, I don't know, let's say 2026 rolls around, Newey builds Ferrari a monster, and Ferrari makes good engines too, right? I mean, they've been having good engines for the past few years. They've only been, hamstrung in tire tag, which they kind of fixed this year, but also cornering and all that. And Newey will probably fix all those issues for them. Newey probably tells myself, "Give me the engine, I give you the car," right? And so let's say Ferrari is a monster in 2026, right? And yeah, Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. Is this Hamilton and Rosberg all over again?
I'm sure Ferrari would like to avoid any incidents which Hamilton and Rosberg had that
I mean, Leclerc
kind
and
of.
Sainz can't keep off each other, and now we're
Yeah,
getting Lewis Hamilton, who's like the most ultra competitive driver the sport has seen, right? I
but
mean,
the
he's not
good thing
shy
is
of
they
running out.
already have a good relationship, off the track. So as long as that is maintained, it does seem like things will work out between them. But in F1, things can change like this between
Yeah, I mean,
teammates.
and both are
So
ultra competent drivers, right?
yeah,
It's not like Charles Leclerc is Valtteri Bottas or something, right? They're very very competitive, and obviously, um, both drivers are known to push the other guy out when it comes to fighting on track, right? Lewis has kind of pushed other drivers out. Leclerc just rammed Vettel when he got pissed off, almost drove signs off the track. Like, these guys are super competitive, and they're in, like, a tube going at 200 miles an hour. Uh, with no
Yeah,
visibility, basically, and they want to win every race that they ever competed. Yeah, so it's going to be very very exciting watching next season.
for
But
sure.
coming back to this season, coming back to this weekend, while you're on Red Bull and Newey, you think Red Bull is running away with this weekend again? Is it going to be a grand slam for Max Verstappen? A sprint grand slam too?
I'm hoping we get something exciting in the sprint race because that's where we see the most excitement these days.
Right.
So I'm hoping we do get something different, similar to last weekend where we saw Alonso and Lewis at the front for a few laps till Max came in. Obviously I saw his dominance. So
Right.
hoping for a repeat where we get something more exciting at the front. But you got to
Yeah.
say, I mean, every race from now till the end of the season will definitely be a Red Bull dominant races, unless
Possibly.
there's a mixed weather conditions or suddenly a track suits one of the front running teams like Ferrari or McLaren.
Right.
So uh, let's see what Mercedes updates give them if that drives some performance improvement and they get closer to say a McLaren or Ferrari, and that is a
Yes.
positive outlook for
They
fans
finally
who want
improve.
to see a competitive battle in between Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes. That is something to watch out for. But I mean, apart from that, it's going to be Red Bull at the front, and then the back markers will be the same as we usually see in the races at this point.
Right. You know, Mercedes updates. Will they finally improve from P6 and P9?
I'm hoping they get to P5 and P8. That'll be good for a start.
And I hope Lewis gets the P5 for a change instead of, George always beating him.
And Lewis
Like,
definitely should not finish in the top three in the sprint race. Because
yeah,
definitely then he's gonna fall back to like out of Q1 in qualifying, which we saw last time. So hopefully there's a I would say an average out or a result in in sprint where he finishes in the top eight and in the qualifying also the same.
yeah,
So yeah, it's gonna be Red Bull again unless we
yeah.
see
I think
something
Miami is
different.
also a track that probably favors Red Bull, right?
Yeah,
I think at this point we're just waiting for Singapore again. I don't know what you guys have in the water there, but we're probably waiting for Singapore again to throw up a surprise. Uh,
yeah. I mean, I
and
hope Ferrari is competitive. Maybe the new liveries, which I'm going to talk about now, maybe that
yeah.
drives up their performance. But what a disappointing livery, man! What is wrong with the HP logo being across 15 places on the car?
Oh my God, tell me about
I
it.
understand the sponsorship, I understand the title partnership, but I don't want it all across the Ferrari car. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm just trying to bring that up. It is absolutely terrible. So yeah, I also saw that the drivers are going to be wearing blue racing suits this weekend. But it's interesting because Ferrari said that this is a special livery for this weekend, right? So obviously the livery after Miami, say at Imola, will probably still have a few HP logos, but I
Hmm.
hope it's enough than 15, right? Right. We have so many HP logos, man. All right,
Yeah,
here's the list. Um, so yeah, there we go.
I think it's pretty hideous that HP I don't know how they went into the negotiations. They're like, okay, we'll accept the partnership, but we want 15 of our logos on the car at 15 different
Yeah,
places.
great.
Like, why do they want so many logos? Why do they want so many HP word usings across different parts?
Um, Sorry, Reddit hates me today, but let me let
Yeah,
me bring up let me bring up
I
Twitter.
think while you get that up, yes, for sure. The blue, the car definitely was a little underwhelming because some of us thought it'll be like an all blue car, but then
Yeah, that's what you're
we
expecting,
just
right?
got
Because
most of it red.
yeah, I mean, red and blue really don't go that well together, right?
They don't.
They're not really, I know, they're not those kind of colors. But also, yeah. So let's see this. Okay, Twitter works. So if you look at the uniforms, I'm going to start with the uniforms because they actually look good.
Mm.
Um, yeah. So these are the uniforms, which. they're going to be racing it. These look fantastic, right? Fair play to Ferrari. The uniforms look mint.
Yeah,
Why
they
could
look
the
pretty
car?
bling.
Why could the car be like this? You
This
know?
reminds me of the Miami Heat, Miami Vice uniforms, where they went
Yeah.
all blue. So I like
And
it.
Ferrari has made blue street cars in the past, right? It's not like it all been red or yellow or black. They have made some very good blue and actually a similar shade of blue as the uniforms in the past. But yeah, if you look at the cars, oh my god, man! Like, oh god, where is it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
think the car is so bad that you're not
look
able to get
at
it up. Okay, now you got it up.
Yep. Look at the HP logos here. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there are more. These angles are not showing all of them.
Yeah,
But this is
sure.
this is really ridiculous. 10 logos in one angle, dude. Like what is this?
Can I get you some Ferrari with my HP? It's not like HP with Ferrari.
Like
It's not like Ferrari with HP. It's HP with Ferrari.
how much money did HP pay, man? Like how much money did HP pay? Like are they making that much money from the cartridge subscriptions now?
Yeah, and speaking of the special livery, it's like just faint colors of blue on the car, which is very disappointing. After this, is not a special livery. This like you just put like a highlighter blue on few of the spots
Yeah.
on the car.
Like
So
look at these uniforms.
the
Fantastic.
uniforms
And
on the car will definitely not go well
their car. What the
with
hell?
such little blue on
Like,
the car.
how is it the same designers doing this?
Yeah,
Oh, this
come on,
is
Ferrari, you can definitely do better than this.
yeah, man. Like, what is this? Like, oh my god. But talking about Ferrari, we also saw a report today that poor Carlos Sainz rejected Audi. I mean, I probably shouldn't say poor, but probably deluded. I don't know. I don't know what how this will end up. But Sainz said no to Audi, and it's being said that Audi is going to quickly move to sign the other driver up, and they probably have a list of backups, right? If they're half as competent. So, you know, where is Sainz going? Is he getting some confirmation from Red Bull or Mercedes that he's going to have a seat? Um, what do you think? Are we going to see Kimi in Williams and maybe Sainz at Mercedes for a couple of seasons? 2025, and let's say the first season of new regulations, we see Sainz. And when maybe Science beat George Russell, and maybe George Russell doesn't drive in 2027. One can dream. But
But I don't see any indications from Mercedes that they are interested in Carlos Sainz or have him at their number one at this point. So there's a dream scenario in which Max Verstappen becomes available and then Mercedes quickly sign him up for the next couple of seasons. That is a dream scenario which Mercedes is
yeah,
waiting for. That's the reason.
I think Mercedes Science was happened, Science is going to Red Bull. No questions asked, right? Like that's
Correct.
probably a dumb deal at that point.
Correct. So obviously Mercedes is not looking or not in a hurry to sign anyone at this point. They want to take their time till the
Right.
summer break probably. Evaluate the options, evaluate whether Kimi Antonelli is to be put into the seat next season or should they go for someone more experienced. So we're gonna have all these questions in front of them, and they're gonna take the time because they already have a backup or already have a driver in Kimi Antonelli who they can announce at any time in the
Right.
season. So they can take the time with Verstappen, so with science whether they actually want him or not. So it's up to
Yeah.
science now to make a choice. I'm not sure why he rejected Audi because obviously the money is not. I mean, it doesn't look like the money is something of a factor in that case because apparently Audi was offering a
Yeah.
pretty lucrative contract to him. So
Right.
at this point, Red Bull definitely is not a suitor for him because Perez is doing well unless Perez suddenly drops out or basically drops his form. That's where science comes back into play. But I don't know what's going to happen. It's been a while. So science himself said he's nervous, but he's also calm at this. Or if I have to paraphrase him, he's nervous, but also calm at the same time
Right.
in terms of his
Yeah.
driver options for next season. So I myself or nobody at this point knows what he's going to do.
Yeah. It's really, and Talking about Sauber a bit, Sauber did a lot of, a shake up this past few days. They shook up a lot of personnel. Valtteri Bottas got a new engineer without him knowing. Poor Bottas, his tire is missing, his engineer is missing, his car is missing. But
I I'm not sure if it's because some people getting removed from the team, or like it seems very weird that it happened like few days before the upcoming race.
yeah,
So something definitely weird going on. I'm not sure they have the entire story. We probably get some more insights as and when the press conference happens and when Sauber representatives comes and
or
speaks.
maybe that's why science rejected them, right? He's seeing too much churn. He's not seeing the right people getting into key positions. I mean, it's very possible, right? Like
Possible.
Nico
Possibly
Hulk.
he
I
does
mean,
not want to waste his next few years in a long term project and be
yeah,
out of the points. So
he's still a young
he's someone
driver.
who's highly motivated. So I don't think he sees them
Yeah,
as a viable option for him to drive a competitive car in the next couple of seasons.
exactly. And Carlos Sainz is a young driver still, right? He's
Yeah,
going to turn
29.
30. Yeah, he's going to turn 30 this year, so he'll be 30 next year. And I mean, in today's sporting world, 30 is not old at all, right? I mean, we have Fernando Alonso, the rookie at 42. So, and I mean, even Lewis Hamilton is going still strong at close to 40 years. So,
Yeah.
uh, and we're even hearing that Vettel might make a shock comeback to F1. Like this, it's the rumors have been going just absolutely insane these past few days. We're
Yeah.
hearing that Vettel might be coming back to either even Mercedes was being floated for Sebastian Vettel, which was very, very weird, right? This guy raised a Red Bull and Ferrari, and how Mercedes, like he's carrying Infinity Stones at this point, and Aston Martin too, right? He's a new Alonso, right? He
Alonso
made
has collected all of it.
at 38 years.
Alonso has collected all of it and some more. So yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, Sebastian Vettel is 30. He's going to be 37. So if he comes back next season, 37 years, he's basically a new Alonso. Uh,
He's still 37 and like, he's got like few more years. I think I don't know why he retired pretty early, but
I mean,
definitely he's
Ferrari
got things
probably
outside of
floated.
F1 at this point. So a return
Yeah,
is while we fans would love it, it's pretty unlikely. Because if you have Carlos Sainz out of a job, I don't think teams would prefer Vettel who's not raced in a season or two over Sainz who's like at the top of his game. So
yeah. I think with Vettel also it was obviously Ferrari kind of broke him, but also at Aston Martin. This was before Aston Martin became competent, right? So they were a
yeah,
pretty garbage team when Vettel was there, and obviously a teammate is Lance Stroll. That's not helping things either. Um, I mean, even Alonso is dissing Lance Stroll publicly now. So I mean, it's no surprise why Vettel retired. He probably didn't get a drive elsewhere, right? I mean, Vettel also is, probably wants a top team. He's not going to Williams or Haas or some team like that, right?
yeah,
And he believed in the Aston Martin project. He joined them, but Aston Martin went nowhere that season. So he is like, you know what? I have 4 titles. I'm going to retire, right? I mean, it's not like Vettel didn't achieve much. He's still one of the greats of Formula One. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, and oh yeah, talking about liveries. VCAP, or let's just call them RP. Come
yeah.
on, these guys need a new name, man. What the heck? None of the names make sense. But they
Do you
have
think
look at this,
Adrian Newey considers RB?
livery, man. This looks amazing.
Definitely, it's a very colorful livery.
Yeah.
It's gonna catch the eye for sure.
Yep.
I mean,
But
while they
no,
might be in 15th place, it's
uh,
definitely gonna catch the eye.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Q2 will certainly be boring with both the cars out in Q.
Yeah,
But
I mean it's good,
then
but I feel it's good that at least teams are making an effort to bring in some new liveries because F1 has gotten very boring over the past few years. Past few years in terms of liveries, right? You have all these carbon, black
carbon,
liveries with
yeah, exactly.
since teams have to maintain a specific weight threshold, or they are not painting their cars as such too, so that they can reduce the
Right.
weight on that. So I mean, it's good. I don't know if it's painted or if it's like some kind of I don't know, some. some other material which they're putting. I'm not sure if the actual paint which they're doing to the car. So, but it's interesting to see that the grid will be a little mixed up. You will have some new kind of liveries. We used to have a lot of this earlier in the previous years. So I would love to see, like, maybe it's a topic we discuss for the future, where can we have Monaco with a retro throwback livery race or something like that?
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, say
I think
McLaren brings back black and
more than
white.
retro, more than oh yeah, black and white from McLaren would be amazing. But
Yeah.
Ferrari's throwback livery is just red. But uh,
Yeah, maybe
Mercedes throw
they bring back more the red and white, which they have with the Marlboro
right,
car.
right. Mercedes should, I don't know, come with a bronze GP livery. Or even a BR Honda livery right before Brown bought the team. But
Yeah.
I think for Monaco more than old liveries, we need smaller cars at Monaco, man. Put the 20 drivers in go karts and make them race.
Yeah, speaking of smaller cars, why don't you bring up the WhatsApp emoji car? How about that car at Monaco?
Yeah,
That's
all
a
right.
nice segue. Why don't you get? Why don't you race? Ask drivers to race in those kind of cars.
I know, right? So all right,
Let's kind
let,
of
let
let's
me
kind of
pull up some tweets for you guys. We saw the Mercedes emoji. We also saw Lewis Hamilton doing donuts in the streets of New York City today. But
that was cool to see.
yeah, before we go on, I just want to touch on one more piece of uh, you know news that came out this weekend, and that was the U.S. government stepping into F1. So yeah, so some of you might know that Andretti has been. So obviously, Andretti was a legendary American race car driver, right? And he's been trying to get into F1 with a team of his own, right? With a new team called Andretti F1, and with GM General Motors developing the engine, right? So it's a all American team, right? American company, American engine manufacturer, a new engine manufacturer into F1. Hopefully, we'll see the death of Renault with now because it's so garbage right now. But um, but what happened was that F1 rejected the team, right? They're not allowed to come in, and there were various rumors as to why that happened. There was a report that uh, FI is not FI, sorry, FOM. There's so many F1 organizations, man. Who can keep up? But yeah, basically Liberty declined it, right? So there were rumors that Liberty's email went into their junk folder and that Andretti never saw the email and the deadline. But it's been wild, to say the least. But yesterday, a bunch of 12 congressmen, wrote a letter to Liberty Media. And why it's important is that Liberty Media is also an American company, right? So, the US government has some power. It's not like the US government is, I don't know, showing freedom to some European country. But uh, Liberty is an American team, sorry, American company. And the United States is very pissed off why they blocked an American team with an American engine manufacturer getting into the sport. And if you look at the congressmen who signed the letter, they're all from states that have GM factories, right? So obviously they want to kind of, do some political theater in their state. But it's going to be very interesting because they were saying that, oh, Andretti will probably come in, 2028 or whatever, right? They missed the boat for 2026. But Andretti has kept working, assuming that they'll come in 2026. So it's going to be very interesting if we see uh, Andretti,
Yeah,
uh, come into F1 before their plan. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Obviously, like it's gonna be. Obviously, I mean, we don't know the reasons, or we don't know the exact measures as to what the FIA took to reject their application. That's kind of still in the dark in terms of the exact process which they followed to reject their application. But definitely, Andretti is still fighting for their place, or fighting for their future place in F1. So I think we are not going to see the end of this unless FIA completely comes and says, gives us the facts as to why Andretti was is not allowed to into 2026 season. So Andretti will
Right.
definitely keep fighting. And now that it's reached the Congress, stage, which is kind of unprecedented. I have never seen something like that going this high. That you're getting a letter from the U.S. government to Liberty Media on this specific case. So definitely there are going to be ramifications to this, and it's going to be interesting to see what F1 and Liberty Media combines. Say over the next couple of weeks in regards to this.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And yeah, it's going to be. I mean, I think no F1 fan is saying no to to an to 11th team, right?
Hmm.
We obviously want more drama and more action all the time on the track. So let's see if Andretti can, make something happen. I mean, obviously unorthodox means, but
Yeah,
let's see if we can make something happen. And yeah, we're going to close up as we talk about Monaco. We're going to close up with the I don't know what the heck Mercedes is doing, but we're going to close out the show with this today. So I'm just going to share my screen with Mercedes Instagram account here, and here you go. So they actually made this car too, right? It's not just we'll show you the light show on the building in a bit, but they actually made a WhatsApp racing car emoji. Look at this car, man. Like
that looks
this is
pretty cute, to
amazing.
be frank.
Yeah, race this in Monaco. Forget Monaco. Race this in every track, man. The cars are
Yeah,
too big.
exactly.
Yeah, look at this car go. It actually runs. That's probably is that Lewis? I don't know. Is that Lewis? No, that's not Lewis.
That's somebody else. But I mean, you
Oh,
see,
just
it's got
chilling.
everything, right?
Chilling on the top of the Empire State.
Yeah,
So that's what exactly.
yeah. We need a car like this, man. Yeah, so basically Mercy doing some marketing with WhatsApp this weekend. WhatsApp has actually changed the racing car emoji on WhatsApp, right? It used to be a blue livery car, I don't know, like a shitty Alpine, but now
Yeah.
it's shitty Mercedes because Mercedes is
Yeah,
shit. But
pretty
yeah,
cool. I would say F1 is definitely going to get more of this in the future. With I
right,
think one thing Liberty Media has done is opened up avenues to different markets in the world.
right.
So
And
it
the US is a huge market, right? Obviously, Formula
yes,
has been a traditionally European sport, but the US is a massive market.
that's the
And
reason they have three races in the US now. So
yeah,
th-
and
and there
if
could
you
be a
just
fourth race. I mean, New York City is not far away from hosting a race in the future.
man, where will you race in New York City? What 90-degree turns? Like, man,
I
in
don't
New
know.
York is pretty grid, man. Like, where the hell will you race?
The Americans will figure that out. They'll do something and get a race there. There'll be no overtaking, but there'll be a race just for the marketing purposes and the fact that the money that will be pumped in is going to be insane.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe you cross the Brooklyn Bridge, go on a
Yeah.
freeway, and go down into Brooklyn or something. I don't know. It's just hilarious even thinking about it. Of a Formula One race in New York City.
Maybe we should
Uh,
do an episode where we design a track around New York City.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
That- That'll be fun to do.
And oh yeah, Lewis also did donuts, right? Oh, they also got this car on the streets. Oh my god, I didn't see
They did, they
this.
did. Yep.
Yeah, this is amazing. And also, yeah, this is Lewis doing donuts.
Yep. Yep.
But
Super cool
yeah,
on the streets of New York.
also what is surprising, Aniket, is that for all the marketing hype, it looks like they didn't advertise this at all. Like, look at how few people there are
Exactly,
on
right?
site, right? I mean, even if Mercedes even did a little bit of marketing, New York has a lot of F1 fans. I'm pretty sure a lot of them, and especially Lewis Hamilton has a lot of brand recognition, like it or not,
For sure.
more than F1, right? Dude's a
Yep.
race car or a fashion icon and all those things, Pretty sure a lot of people come just to watch Lewis Hamilton too. So it's actually shocking that Mercedes barely did any marketing. Like all this, we found out about all this after it happened. Pretty sure if they announced this before Fifth Avenue, it's probably Fifth Avenue, this would be packed with people. Uh, this would be packed with people.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, that's the show for you today, and we obviously we hope the weekend throws us some surprises. Maybe Verstappen's engine blows up again or something. But or at least Ferrari's. I mean, I don't think Ferrari's going to be competitive. No updates this weekend. But yeah,
Maybe
hopefully
the
we see.
HP helps. Hopefully the
Yeah,
HP helps with, or HP could just say horsepower. 15 HPs mean more horsepower. So yeah.
yeah, 15 horsepower definitely help a lot against Red Bull. Anything can help, man. But yeah, that's the show for today, and yeah, and we also had Ayrton Senna's 30-year the anniversary of the incident. Who knows, where he would have ended on the charts if that fateful thing had not happened that day. And
Ayrton and also Roland Ratzenberger
yes,
a
yes,
day before.
definitely. Yep, Rasenberger too. And yeah, for better or for worse, F1 has become much safer because of those two incidents, and every incident after that. We also had Jules, close to a decade ago now, who in the pouring Suzuka rain tragically lost his life. And because of that, we also saw F1 be a little more cautious and red flag more often. We barely saw red flags before Jules happened, right? Red flags are more common now. Even safety cars come out because if you remember when Jules happened, there was nothing. Jules just ran into the train at full speed in pouring rain. So yeah, we are. I mean, we obviously would be. We obviously hope that they didn't pass away like that. But today, F1 is a much safer sport for them, and yeah, I guess enjoy the race weekend, guys. Miami
Yep.
is typically a boring track, so I'm not expecting much, but and there's a sprint which I hate, but hopefully we get some surprises. Yeah, maybe Lando Norris wins the race finally. I don't know.
Who knows? This is the day.
Or maybe Sainz wins again just to rub it into Ferrari's face. All right, guys,
Yep.
that's the show. We'll see you
That's
next
the
week.
show.
So, see you
Subscribe to
guys.
the channel, like and share with your friends. And have a good night.
Have a good weekend, and it's going to be a little odd time in Miami, so make a note on your calendars. It's a very different time. So that's it, race. See you everybody next week.